When reading JoJo's Bizarre Adventures Part 8 Jojolion, I had very mixed feelings because I did enjoy each chapter and as we went through all the progressive stories and everything, but the one thing that always stumped me was like, I hear so much about Wonder of You, but where the hell is he? Until he actually showed up. Now, despite whatever I choose to make this video say, this video isn't really dogging on Jojolion. It's just asking the question of why did Araki wait so long to add Wonder of You into the story? Why were we waited so long to be shown the main antagonist? Was it always supposed to be just this super long this super long swerve after you set up the item that everyone wants? Which is something Araki does very often within, especially within JoJo's Bizarre Adventures. With Diablo, it was the stand arrow. With Pucci, at first it was Jotaro's disc, but then after that, it was all the subsequent items like the green baby or, things like that. And then with Funny Valentine, it was the Saint's Corpse, but you set up the item with the Hokagekhi fruit that everyone wants. And it felt like at a certain point within the story, like the sides were forming, you know what I mean? And it looked like to be rock humans versus humans, but at the same time, at some points it looked like Jobin was the main antagonist, you know what I mean? And even then, it looked like we weren't really getting a main antagonist with Part 8 all the way until Toru showed up and we got Wonder of You. Now, me personally, I did enjoy the Wonder of You arc a lot. I enjoyed how brutal it was. How Araki really didn't hold back when he was adding in the stand. Meaning there was a good chance your favorites really could have got. I was extremely worried for a lot of characters throughout that entire arc. And some of my favorite characters went down to Wonder of You because of Wonder of You. But all I'm asking, right, is why? Why do we have to wait 80 something chapters before we actually get real Wonder of You content? Was it always meant to be set up as this hierarchy? You gotta go through this doctor, then you gotta go through this doctor, then you gotta go through, because once like the group was announced, and well, not announced, but we figured out there was a group, especially with like the Joseph / Josuke, his backstory. I was like, okay, well, there's got to be a leader. And I honestly didn't think Jobin was the leader, but like I thought there was some leader we were getting in the upcoming chapters, but no. But at the same time, when I think about it, I feel like it was kind of fair to wait that long because it felt like Araki was trying to play with like some new style where, I mean, he kind of did it with Funny Valentine, but the difference between Wonder of You and Funny Valentine was we saw Funny Valentine throughout Part 7. We just didn't see his stand. We didn't see it. But Araki, he, at least with Jojolion, he made it so like we start off with, first we have Josuke going around trying to figure out who he is, and from there we go to the Hokagekhi fruit, and from there, after we uncover all the secrets of the Hokagekhi fruit, and now there are these established teams, these are the established groups, and there's this third party where that's Jobin and his son. Then we had this main villain come in and just wreck everything, and he's disgustingly overpowered. And honestly, I did enjoy it that way because it felt like, okay, as we're uncovering mysteries, it felt like every time we're getting closer and closer to the end goal, something else is just pushing it further away, like pushing it way far back, which I didn't necessarily hate. And when we look at other JoJo parts, I know other JoJo fans have like problems with villains showing up later. A lot of people say Part 4 sucks because before Kira it's bad. Some people say Part 5 before Diablo, which is one I really don't get, is bad. I've heard it all, but I do feel like by the time Wonder of You showed up, we actually saw the stand, not he's hiding in the bushes, not he appears 20 feet away from somebody, just looks at them. He starts doing things. I do feel like that's when the pace quickened even more. But while quickening, they allowed Wonder of You to show off all of its abilities. But sometimes I think what would have happened if Wonder of You was allow to be in the part earlier? Would we just have ended the part with Josuke dying and no one ever finding out the truth about the Hokagekhi fruit? You know, these are things I question, but I've always wanted to ask the question why it took so long, because again, it felt kind of excessive when you're reading and you're like, okay, we're 80 chapters in. I don't remember if Toru was introduced by that point, but I'm pretty sure we hadn't seen Wonder Review or the head doctor either. But we're 80 chapters in. Where's the main villain? I don't know, but if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. You know, we're on the road to 5K, so anything helps. And until next time, peace.